Good morning, Asean. Fresh up your world, your thought, and your idea with us every Monday to Friday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I am Nirashamali Saklamia.
And we now present is Thursday, the 1st of August. Well, the Thai government on Wednesday has invoked a special security law to control the planned anti-government protests in central Bangkok after a series of violent rallies have rocked the capital in recent years. The Thai People's Army, a newly formed coalition of ultra-royalist groups who despise the Pheu Thai ruling party and its exiled figurehead Thaksin Shinawatra, has vowed to protest in Bangkok on Sunday, possibly for several days. It is targeting a government-backed bill due to be introduced in Parliament on August the 7th and proposing an amnesty for those involved in several bouts of political violence that have convulsed the nation since a 2006 coup toppled Thaksin. The amnesty bill would scrap charges against protesters involved in incidents from September 2006 coup until May 2012, barring the leaders. Opponents fear it will be manipulated by Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra's government to grant her brother Thaksin an amnesty, paving the way for his return by waiving his 2-year jail sentence on corruption charges. To head off possible unrest, the cabinet has invoked the Internal Security Act for 10 days in 3 inner districts of the capital, a senior government official said. Paladon Patanatabut, the Secretary General of the National Security Council, said that we estimate there will be a large number of protesters from the camps both for and against the bill, so to prevent them from confrontation, we have to invoke the special security law. The security law enables the government to prevent the use of certain routes or vehicles, impose a curfew, ban gatherings, carry out searches of buildings, and censor the media. Paladon said protesters have yet to announce where the rallies will be held, but the measure will secure parliament in the city's historic center.
And now let's update on the oil spill situation in Thailand as Thailand's Energy Ministry's promises to complete its investigation into the cause of the disastrous offshore oil spills within 7 days and to ensure full compensation by the PTT Global Chemical. Energy Minister Phongsak Thapong Pisa said yesterday that the situation is under control now as there's no oil stain is found on the waters of the Got Samet. The fact-finding committee to be led by the Thongthip Ratana Rat, former executive director of the Petroleum Institute of Thailand, would start its work to find out why the crude oil leaked from the PTTGC's platform in the Gulf of Thailand and whether the operator had complied with protocol. Initially, PTTGC insisted that it had followed protocol to mitigate the situation. A 15,000-meter-long boom was laid on the surface, but probably because of high waves, the oil slick slipped outside the containment area. Phongsak said that the leak volume was within their handling capacity and the operators had conducted regular drills. He had a meeting with high-ranking officials from the Energy Ministry and PTT Group. Meanwhile, CEO of PTTGC promised that the Ao Prao or Prao Beach would be cleaned up within 7 days. The company and independent expert would cooperate in designing the rehabilitation plan and assessing the marine environmental damage, according to him. He said that the use of the dispersant coal slick gone and S would not threaten marine life. And about 35,000 liters of the chemical have been sprayed on the oil slick in the past days, prompting concern among environmentalists. Phongsak told reporters that all businesses and individuals affected by the oil slick should refrain from suing the PTTGC, as the company had promised to take full responsibility for the damage, while those directly impacted would be immediately granted compensation. A committee would be set up to appraise compensation for those indirectly affected. However, the Prevention and Elimination of Marine Pollution caused by the Oil Spill Committee under the Prime Minister's office resolved yesterday to have the Marine Department file a compensation lawsuit against the company. The company has ordered PTTGC to submit a rehabilitation plan for the damaged natural resources and release losses by the oil spill by the end of this month. PTTGC must seek the opinions of stakeholders and locals on suitable methods to restore natural resources as well as the Proud Beach to their original condition.
And ever since the Cambodian elections on Sunday was the first time that the Prime Minister Hun Sen has appeared in public, as Hun Sen yesterday visited the construction site of a bridge to end rumors that he has resigned and left the country after the Sunday's poll. He said that he wants to inform the public that he is now in Cambodia and is holding the power as the Prime Minister of Cambodia in the 4th legislature of the government. Nobody has the right to force the incumbent Prime Minister to step down as it is against the Constitution, he said. According to the initial unofficial results of Sunday's poll, the Cambodian People's Party, or the CPP of Hun Sen, won the election with 68 parliamentary seats, and the opposition Cambodian National Rescue Party, or the CNRP, got the remaining 55 seats. The leaders of CNRP said yesterday that they did not recognize the results, claiming widespread fraud. Kem Sokha, the CNRP's vice president, told hundreds of supporters rallied at the party's headquarters in Phnom Penh on Wednesday that the election had a lot of irregularities and ballot rigging. CNRP President Sam Rainsy claimed that about 1.3 million voters were unable to vote because their names were not on the voter list. He said that if those people had voted for the CNRP, the party would win easily because the ruling CPP won us only 200,000 votes on the Sunday's election. Rainsy also claimed that there were about 1 million ghost names on the voter list and about 200,000 duplicate names. Calling on Prime Minister Hun Sen to step down, he said these are the irregularities. The CNRP had to find justice for the Cambodian people.
And now let's have a look at our special report by Kun Juarawee Kittisilpa on the nationalisms and historical dispute that still hinders in Asia's growth.
The end of Cold War paves a new dawn to the world. It is a wake of the transition to the new era, which brought about the realization of regional economic cooperation in Asia. Countries of Northeast Asia, China, Japan, and South Korea were able to forge, for the first time, a consensus that focuses their energies on pursuing peace, prosperity, and political stability. At the same time, the post-Cold War also allowed nationalism to reassert itself, dragging the process of regional cooperation behind. To Professor Kenneth Quinones from Akita International University, history talk is considered politics for East Asia.
South Koreans don't understand. They're an island. Their whole future requires they have to have economic, political cooperation, not just with China, but also with Japan. And so it has to start in Korea. Right now, the Koreans are not thinking that way, but they need to be a little more humble. They are so proud of their economic achievement, but that economic achievement could quickly collapse if they don't continue to develop cooperation within the region.
Central to nationalism in China and the two Koreas are reservations about Imperial Japan's perceived misdeeds, which was seen as the root of territorial disputes in the Maritime Sea until today. Through different perception and conditions held by each concerned country, the scars left by Japanese invasion and colonization still runs high in East Asia, while psychological and emotional reparation from historical responsibilities remains an ongoing dialogue.
Reconciliation is very difficult because most people focus on reconciliation by legalistic means, and that's not the way forward. To achieve reconciliation, you have to build relationships, nurture them, and that means paying attention to the psycho-emotional dimension of the horrible traumas that people have experienced in the past. Nanjing, 1938, the Comfort Woman, slave labor, etc.
The problems being faced in East Asia is not far from the ones being discussed among ASEAN countries, with a high-level meeting between the Southeast Asian grouping and China on working to find a resolution to the South China Sea dispute is taking place in Bangkok this week before another special meeting in Beijing. Former Indonesian UN Ambassador Hashim Jalal, who has also been directly dealing with the issue over the years, say the best way to settle any regional disputes should be done through dialogue.
The position basically has not changed, but this does not prevent people from reaching agreements. For instance, before there was a disagreement between China and Vietnam in territorial boundary in the Gulf of Tonkin. But through dialogue process and so forth between the two, they find agreement. Territorial issue is not an easy and simple matter, but you have to deal with it. Otherwise, there will always be misunderstanding that we don't want to see it.
As we step into the new age of globalization and connecting to the world has become effortless, the goal to historical reconciliation does not have to be achieved solely through direct political means. Civil society has become an essential part to the equation to forge the broken trust. Indirectly, through connections of people-to-people relations, forgiveness and the will to move on could be done much easier. In the end, the resolution to historical conflicts in East Asia now rests ashore on the engagements of the civil society. Being open-minded may no longer be enough, but the exchange of activities and information as well as perceptions and thoughts will be the key and essential part in achieving the peace and reconciliation within this region. Juarawee Kittisilpa reports from Seoul, South Korea.
After the break, TELKOM from Indonesia has won a permit for the mobile network in Myanmar.
According to the TELKOM reports, Indonesia-based PT TELKOM or telco has been selected to construct its telecommunication mobile network in Myanmar. TELKOM is the largest telecommunications services company in Indonesia, founded in 1856, and it is a majority state-owned company. Myanmar awarded Norway-based Telenor and Qatar-based Ooredoo communications licenses at the end of June. Among two operators, Ooredoo has likely chosen PT TELKOM to carry out construction works of mobile network, according to the reports. Arif Yahya, Telco CEO, said that the TELKOM has shown cooperations that could be carried out with international mobile enterprises, according to their agreements. Although Telco was not involved in a competitive mobile tender for the two operating licenses, they were granted permissions for opening a branch office in Myanmar. TELKOM mainly operates in the fixed-line telephone, mobile and internet services, digital television, property and construction and IT services, while other businesses are run by subsidiaries. Moreover, the communications firm is now operating in Indonesia, Hong Kong, Austria, Malaysia and Singapore, and planning to extend its market in Asia and the Middle East.
For Tech Savvy today, take a look at the technology used for drug manufacturing. Welcome to Tech Savvy, a program to broaden your perspective on the IT industry. Today, Tech Savvy will bring you to a technology that's used in the life science sector. Well, this technology guarantees that the medicine you take is safe and clean. When buying or being prescribed medicine, customers and patients alike expect the drugs to be clean and without contamination to ensure the safety of their health. For this reason, pharmaceutical companies are very keen to maintain this safety standard. Inside the clean room used to manufacture drugs, microparticles may not be visible to the eyes, but these manufacturers regularly screen for any unwanted particle in the manufacturing process. One method is using devices to measure any unwanted particle and to see whether it exceeds a standard level. This device, called the Portable Particle Counter, for example, produced by US-based particle measurement company TSI, can be placed in the manufacturing room and can evaluate both viable and non-viable particles, determining what kind of particle it is. For example, the device can distinguish viruses, bacteria, fungus, or other particles. It also measures the size of the particle and shows its measurement results on the screen. The user only needs to set the standard. In this case, Thailand is following the GMP PIC standard, an international standard to produce medicine, after Thailand's Food and Drug Administration has registered Thailand as a member in 2006, according to Suchat Chiochan, an industrial engineering department team leader of Innovative Instrument, the importer of TSI to Thailand. He said the standard helps evaluate the manufacturer's quality control as well as evaluate risk of contamination in manufacturing.
ก็ไปดูว่าค่าที่ได้ผลเนี่ยเกินมาตรฐานการผลิตไหมถ้าไม่เกินก็เขาจะเก็บเรคคอร์ดตรงนี้ไว้เป็นข้อมูลในการที่จะเวลาทางอย.มาตรวจหรือเป็นข้อมูลในสร้างความเชื่อมั่นในการผลิตในโปรดักต์ของเขาเองว่าเขามีการมาตรฐานนะมีการไปตรวจว่าพวกนี้เขาจะมีการตรวจทุกระยะปีหนึ่ง2-3 ครั้งอะไรเงี้ยมีการประเมินออดิตอยู่เสมอเพื่อให้ผู้บริโภคมั่นใจได้ว่าใช่ครับเพื่อให้ผู้บริโภคมั่นใจได้ว่าการผลิตของเขาเนี่ยไม่มีการปนเปื้อน
The manufacturers receive a printed report from the device after the evaluation is complete.
พวกนี้จะมีปริ้นรีพอร์ตให้เลยนะครับเวลาตรวจวัดปั๊บก็สามารถที่จะสั่งปริ้นออกมาได้เพราะค่าเราเนี่ยไปอิงกับล็อตความผิดนั้นว่าค่าที่ได้เกินมาตรฐานหรือเปล่าถูกต้องหรือเปล่านะครับจะมีสแตนดาร์ดเป็นตัวกำหนดอยู่แล้วครับ INDONESIA แล้วก็จะมีตารางให้ดูว่าอนุภาคตัวนี้ขนาดที่เราดูอยู่ตามมาตรฐาน FCA ก็คือ 0.5 กับ 5 ไมครอนว่าไม่ควรเกินมาตรฐานที่กำหนด
Other devices, such as this variation multifunction meter, is used to measure air-related factors such as temperature, humidity, wind speed, and room temperature, all of which are related to dust production. Besides drug manufacturers, Suchat said, quality assurance companies, laboratories, or those involved in research and development also make orders for these devices, or simply any industry that requires a clean room. That wraps up Tech Savvy today. See you again next time.
And that's all the time we have for today. See you again, same time, same place, same channel.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Veena Jongprasit.
And I am Nirasha Malisak Lami. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ